Hi, everybody. My name's Wendi, and this is my podcast of one, me by myself right now. And I'm calling it I Went There because I'm going to go there. Anyways, um, I am a wellness consultant, and what I want my podcast to be about is anything you guys want to talk about, really. We can talk about anything because I like to talk and I'm open to do that. But mostly, I want to kind of let's get through life together. Let's heal through some traumas. And I'm really into, kind of walking through life and kind of getting to a better spot through wellness through nature, which is I have a company that's called Helm, and that's what we do. And so, if that means for you sitting in a hammock in the woods and thinking about nothing, then that's the best thing. That's a really good thing. If it means for you taking a vigorous swim in a lake or in your backyard pool, it's still nature. If it means for you sitting in your bathtub with a smell good essential oil bath, that's just emanating all the good smells of nature, and you've got some plants, or if it means you're sitting in your living room with your candle burning, it's still getting through the way that I think is the best. And I don't know, you guys tell me what you think is best, because I love to learn, and I love to learn, other people's perspectives. So let's talk about it. So, anyways, what I would like to talk about, and so anybody that's interested, let's talk, is how can we get through, whether it be the big traumas of life, child abuse, child neglect that you experienced, or sometimes, what's big for you is small for somebody else. Sometimes what's small for you is big for somebody else, and nobody's here to be judging that, because some of us don't even notice when a car hits us, and others of us felt that feather like it was a brick. And that's okay, because what you feel it's your reality. And if you need help getting through that, that's truth. That's just it. Let's just do it. And I think oftentimes when somebody thinks, hey, that's the tough guy, that's the guy that's not affected by anything, man, he came through the storm like it's nothing. That is your exact person that is actually the most affected. They are the one that's packing it all down. And darling, them chickens come to roost. They always come to roost. And so let's talk about how when those things come to roost, we make them go away. We settle them down a bit, whatever we need to do at the moment. And if they don't come to roost, let's keep them from coming to roost. So I don't know how many times I can say roost. Anyways, but I want to do this in a fun way, so you can see I'm a goofball. I'm going to be a goofball, because my thoughts on this are, I think there's enough people out there that are trying to self-help you and whatever it is that they're doing, which I think is fantastic if it works for you. Whatever works for you works for you, and I think there's nothing wrong with any of it. But I think for me personally, there's enough people out there that are so serious. And when I went through something recently, one of the things I found is that more so with myself than anybody else, but then my expectation of what others thought, is that if I smiled or I laughed about something or I made a joke about something that was happening in that situation, or even during just my nail appointment, when I went to get my nails done, I thought, since my nail lady knew what was going on, if I laughed, I looked like either that it didn't matter to me, it wasn't serious, or that I was a psychopath. And so I didn't want to do that. I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to look happy, because I'm not happy in the moment. And I need to work through some things. And I was working through some big things. We all work through big things. And, nobody's alone in that. We all have a lot of trauma, some of us more than others. But stuff happens in life. Life can be hard, it can be difficult. But let's find the happiest path through that difficulty. And let's do it together, because I know that feeling alone is one of the worst things that you can have to experience when you're going through something. And so I want to be that friend that you can come talk to, and we can kind of figure out what's the best way to get you through this, and how many people can we help get through this while we do it. Let's do this, you know. And so I think one of the most healing things is laughter and kind of being goofy. And I think if you're so centered in a spot where you can't laugh anymore, that in itself is so harmful. And I know we all have that time where it's just like to drag your head up is all you can do. But I also think that there's a lot of times where something is kind of funny in the moment, and it might be something a little bit dark in the moment that's funny. I mean, I remember myself, I'm going to give you an example, is going to a funeral and thinking this girl would have literally died. The person in the casket would have died if they knew how they did her hair and makeup, because she was very, very fashion forward and always had her makeup perfect and her hair perfect. And I don't know, they made her look like a revivalist preacher's wife. And that was not how she looked. She was like 19 years old. It's not the way she looked. And for some reason, that tickled my funny bone. And yeah, I'm the one that will laugh at a funeral. And I had to get up and go to the bathroom. And, you know, I kind of thought about it later, and her family all had the same sense of humor as she did. And I think they all might have been actually relieved if we had all just had a good laugh about that, because I'm sure they were all thinking the same thing. And then later when I did talk to some of them, they had exactly been thinking, is that her makeup looked crazy and all. And I think if we had had a minute of, you know, the tense feelings relieved, it might have been healing. And I certainly don't think she would have been upset about that. That would have been what she'd wanted. And so I think there's moments like that where we need to just be able to, you know, sit back and say, yeah, this has happened to me, or this is happening to me, and it's affecting me in a way that is not making me a happy person at the moment. But what are the good things I can find in this? What are the funny moments I can find in this? Because I'm telling you, laughter is healing. And so that's not all we're going to do. Let's cry together. If we need to cry, let's cry. You know, I'm all about that too. And all. But I'm going to come to you looking like this, or looking like whatever I look like. I might podcast in my bathtub. I don't know. Whatever. Let's do it in a fun way. Let's not always have to be so serious. I don't think everything that's all around our trauma has to be glum and so serious. There are times when things are just utterly nothing but serious, and that also can be a truth. But there's also times when you have had a serious time for long enough. Let's have some fun in it. And so, anyways, my name again is Wendi, and this is my, so far, podcast of 1. I went there. And if you want to make it a podcast of 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, I'd love to have a discussion with anybody. And because you know what? You can learn from everyone. And I find people really interesting. And so let's talk about some things. And otherwise, let's talk about how we can all feel better every day. Because I want to feel better. I'm pretty sure everybody else wants to feel better. And I think we can do it together. All right, so we'll see you really soon. And thanks for checking me out. Bye.